It's about to go down.
You are listening to WPRD 98.3 GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com and hosted by
You are listening to the incredible
Nova Phoenix and LK Mason.
What's up, y'all? This is WPRD 98.3 GCOM Radio. I'm your host, Nova Phoenix, and we have the lovely LK Mason right here. What's up, lady?
What's up, Nova P? How you doing today?
Chilling, man. We here, and it's Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Week, and I can't wait for them good eats. My mother called me, so I got to bring my, essentials, the juice and the ice and all those things. And I can't wait because my mother be throwing down.
Oh. Mom's not making turkey, is she?
Yeah, she makes some good turkey. She makes some
they
good
just
turkey.
did a recall, though.
Makes
they
everything.
just did a recall of all this turkey, though.
Well, recall where?
Man, I saw it on TV, on the news. They recalled some turkeys. And a friend of mine, I just thought about it because right before we started recording, I saw that my friend eliminated turkey from the dinners that she's selling. She's a caterer. Yes, because of it's salmonella poisoning. Something.
Same.
Yes, they recalled a bunch of turkeys.
Tom's? Tom's?
I don't know if it was Tom the turkey, but I know it was. I know they said like ground turkey, and they couldn't pinpoint. I think the reason why people are not getting turkey is because they couldn't pinpoint it to one brand. So they know it's turkey, and they were leaning more to. Yes.
And she's eliminating turkey
she's not even
altogether
putting
from
it in
her.
Yeah, she don't even want to risk it. So she, if you order dinner from her, shout out to Simply Divine Catering. She has ham.
They
no
doing
Tom
a serious
turkey.
recall from no
No salmonella for me.
With some seasoning.
It's like, can I get some salmonella with that? No, thank you.
No more pork sausages, Ma. Please. What? Yeah. So word. Damn, that's messed up. So are they scrambling, Tom, to try to figure out?
I don't know. I see a whole bunch of people buying
is?
a whole bunch of turkeys because they're doing a lot of giveaways. Shout out to the people who are doing that, giving back. But
early shout.
I don't know. Man, I can't tell you. I guess to be safe, some people are like, no
I forgot
turkey.
what brand. No turkey. Well, I forgot something. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had tofurkey?
Heck nah, no. I had tofu before, and I did not like it.
Now, am I saying
tofurkey?
No, I'm sorry, not tofurkey. I meant turducken.
No.
Turducken. It's turkey stuffed with a duck, stuffed with what was it? Bacon? Something. Chicken. So it's a turkey. They stuff the duck in the turkey, and they stuff the chicken in the duck.
Wow.
So you get 3 birds, and then they deep fry it, I think. And then you have, they called it tofurkey. I was like, whatever it is. I'm like,
never even heard of it.
I'm sorry, turducken.
You
You never heard it? Yo, it's crazy. And I'm like, damn, that sounds good. I'm like, damn.
Making you hungry.
And maybe I gotta see if I can buy it online, because I know for damn sure I ain't gonna be preparing no turducken or whatever like that. But I gotta see where I could go online. I'm sure they sell it somewhere. Okay, so anyway, so we going into our first segment. Yeah, I just had my stewed chicken and peas and rice and plantain and what do you call it, cabbage. Just early, so I'm good. I'm full. Shout out to all my West Indian people be throwing it down. So for our first segment, we were talking about it earlier about what you saw on this show called The Doctors.
Yes,
and it's all about the dangers of the internet and kids.
Yes.
What did you see about that?
Man, I typically, it was just something that I had on in the background, when I'm working. I like a little bit of noise in the background, and The Doctor was on the TV. And what really caught my attention was when I heard them say the average child watching porn is 8 years old. And I was like, I stopped what I was doing. And I was like, now you say what now?
Say what?
And so like my ears, I was just like tuned in, like what? And they were talking about that kids can have on their phones or tablets or whatever, and they are engaging in activities and viewing things. Yes, 8 years old, and that's the average. So that means there are kids younger than 8 watching porn.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. That's a scary thought. I have a 7-year-old daughter, that is, and she has an iPad, and she disappears into a room, and it gets me thinking, what the hell she's watching?
You don't know, because you don't know what, you know, her friends have seen, and they're like, you should check this out, you know? You might not expose her to it, but you don't know whether her friends or people that she, you know, are in her class or whatever, you don't know what they've been exposed to and what they talk about. It's, man.
Well, there's this one little, I think we got this one little clip that we can play.
Oh, yeah, let's check that out.
I don't know all the details. Check this out. This is Dr. Stroman on The Doctors talking about these new ways that kids are messing with the internet. Check this out.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is a tough business. So what's cool is you have some tips on what parents can really look out for to keep everyone safe.
Yeah, it is overwhelming. I'm a parent, so I have 2 kids in this field, and growing up with them, trying to navigate online, I'm just here to try to help all of us understand what we can do to keep our kids safe.
So what's the first tip?
So the first tip I would say is to understand that there's something called vault apps or calculator apps that are out there. We should all know that these are apps that you can download on your phone that literally keep us all of our like digital stuff, our pictures and our videos. They even have browsing capabilities behind it. So if as a parent, if I have a monitoring tool on my phone, you actually cannot see what they're browsing and doing online.
So it looks like a calculator.
Absolutely looks like a calculator. And in fact, if you as a parent go in and start to use it, and it's actually one of these calculator apps, and you punch in the wrong code, it will secretly take your picture and notify the child.
And I mean,
Snooping on your kid.
Yes.
So then behind this app, they're hiding photos. They're able to browse without you knowing what they're looking at, and you can't detect it even if you have that software on your own.
No, it does not. It actually it cloaks what's inside of that. And what is terrifying to me is that the average age children now are viewing pornography is 8, and chronic viewing is 11.
So average, so that means younger,
yes,
too.
So they're hiding these within those apps.
Now, ain't that something?
I know, right?
Now, ain't that something?
And chronic users watching porn are 11.
Yo, that is a scary thought, man.
Right.
That is a scary thought. And here it is. I'm on my computer, and my kid's in her room, and I don't know what she's doing. And then I don't think she's at that age yet. But you know what? Let me not underestimate the intelligence of a child and the ability for them to not let the parents know what they're doing. So she could be talking with her friends, and her friends could be letting her know at 7, yes, no doubt, this is how you do it, so they don't see what you're doing. And all, my older brother and sister told me how to do this, and all of a sudden she knows of a way to keep
from
me
seeing what she's doing,
or her mother, not aware of what she's doing. And yo, that's scary, man. Seriously. Because let me tell you, if these kids could master games like Fortnite, and Fortnite, I don't know if you heard that game, is where people get, they do all these funny dances and they get it from the game. And actually, that's even dangerous in itself, because they selling it out there, getting millions of young players to do it. But how they do it is a lot of these online smartphone games is the game may be free, but you have to pay to get more of these digital gold coins so you could play within the game. And sometimes these games will take you out, redirect you to other websites outside the game, and then it's a scam where they could trick kids into giving up personal and sensitive information. So there was a lot of people that were letting people know about Fortnite and all these other games that you have to let your kids be aware of not to put any sensitive information about where they live, or sometimes kids have access to their parents' credit cards, and I could put that in there. Next thing you know, you could get scammed out of money right out of your bank account. So it's crazy.
Yeah, there was another app that they were talking about. I can't remember the name of it, but you can go to thedoctors.com and access that video. Right. But they were talking about what this app is. The kids get it's like a community, and they create their own like characters or whatever, avatar, whatever you want to call it, and you can go out there and communicate with other people, and it has whatever you call, what do they call it, the geosites, and people can know where you are and stuff. And then there's this another app where you earn, like, they don't call them coins. I think she said it's like different stuff, like you can get hearts or stars or whatever. Right. And if you do certain things on the video, and so obviously they don't know if there's a pervert out there pretending to be a child, because this person is hiding behind this avatar, you know? And so there could be someone saying, yeah, take off your shirt and I'll give you this many, you know, and then they can take those grapes that the person give them for taking off their shirt and transfer them into PayPal and make money. So your kid could be in their room with their phone stripping and making money.
That's crazy. Because many months ago, I think it was last year, a year and a half ago or something, my nephew had Instagram. I was like, what? He said, yeah, I got Instagram. So he showed me pictures of his favorite basketball players. I was like, yo, he's like 12. I'm like, I'm sorry, I forget him age, but he's young, 11, 12, something like that at the time. And I'm like, what? Nah, bruh, you're gonna have to delete this. So I called my sister and I was like, listen, such and such got an Instagram page, and his sister younger than him. She's like, what? Yo,
yes, I was going to say,
promptly.
Kids way younger than him have Instagram pages. You didn't know?
No, I'm like, what?
Yes.
You got Instagram. I'd be on. Nah, man, you can't be on Instagram, player. Delete. And now they got a lot of something similar to Instagram, a lot of other these young social media sites, but for kids. I don't know, list of them. Maybe I'll put it on Lyfeblood.com to show you which are great kid sites to be on, where you don't have to worry about them being exposed to any like malicious or dangerous or kid predators or whatever like that. But there are some ways where you can find out what your kid is doing. You can either go into the web browser. You can check the browser history, but if your kid's smart enough to delete the browser history, you can go to your wireless router, and you can figure out the website history from your browser. So you could get the IP address from your browser. You could put it into the web browser. Excuse me. You could get the IP address from your router and put it into your web browser, or you could call the manufacturer if it's password protected. And once you get into the router, when you get the IP address, you can click where it would say logs, and you can view the activity of all the websites right from your router. So, and there are also software like Safety Web, there's Social Shield, and then there's another one called McGruff Safeguard, where parents can use these things as software to kind of keep an eye on what your kids are doing.
But what about the app that she was just talking about? Like, if you have those softwares on there where you can see what your child is doing, and you have this app that looks like a calculator that actually cloaks whatever is going on, like, you don't know,
right? Like,
how, you know what I mean? It's like
I don't know who's making. I'm like, who is making these freaking apps for kids that's gonna put their lives in danger? Like, you got to go after them. Like, who's the person doing this, or a group of people? Because all you're doing at the end of the day is putting my kid's life in danger. Right. And if you're okay with this by you designing this game, nah, man, I ain't trying to hear that. And then in porn and all that, listen, man, listen. So those are a couple of things that I've seen that people could check on out. But okay, you're right, man. I think the best thing you could do is just keep an eye on what your kid is doing, and don't feel ashamed that you have to go through their phone. Because my nephew now, for his birthday, he finally has his own smartphone. Mm-hmm. So I know my sister don't play and my mother don't play. Abuela, my abuela, they call her that. I know my mother don't play and she's on top of them kids, but you got to be involved in your kids' lives. And like me, I have to make sure I check my kid's iPad and see what she is getting on, like, because she's gonna figure it out at some point in time. If not now,
check her calculator.
Oh, you know I'm putting all types of numbers in that mofo. 422-325-6. Put a birthday in this month. What? Matter of fact, delete this calculator. I'm gonna get you a Texas Instruments joint. You could use that instead of this smartphone joint. This old school joint. Crazy. Anyway, so we gonna get up out of here. Yeah. And the first song we gotta go into is, here we go, Xiamara Jennings from ATL, Georgia. Yes, now, the song she got is Weakness. Love Xiamara. She's coming again with it. Listen up.
Yeah, yeah.
All I want to do is get close to you, hold you in my arms, baby, feel your warmth. So pull me in some more. What you waiting for? Tell me, would you mind maybe being mine? 'Cause you're turning me on and on and on. Feeling on my body, yeah, this feels just right. Tell me what you like, I know I'm your type. Just give me some time, let's not waste no time. Catch me 'cause I'm falling, falling. Your lips keep calling me, your eyes bring me in. This is more than a friendship. I can't get enough, baby, you are my weakness. My weakness, my weakness, my weakness. You are my, I can't get enough. My weakness, my weakness, my weakness. You are my, love is my drug. Get it, I can't get it, I can't get enough. Yeah, love is my, love is my drug. Baby, we can fly outer space tonight. Make this dream come true, baby, me and you. Grooving to the sound, don't care if it's too loud. You're my kind of guy, feel like I don't have to hide. I know this isn't new, but I can feel the energy with us is something real. Whisper in my ear, let's get out of here. Just give me some time, let's not waste no time. Catch me 'cause I'm falling, falling. I'm falling for your lips keep calling me. What am I to do? Your eyes bring me in. This is more than a friendship. I can't get enough, baby, you are my weakness. My weakness.
Ooh, a GCOM exclusive.
I can't get enough. Can't get enough. No weakness. My weakness. You are my love is my drug. You love. Get it. I can't get it. I can't get enough. Your love is my
I love them.
WPRD 98.3 GCOM Radio.
Okay, yes, we are back. We just heard Xiamara Jennings from ATL, Georgia. Her song is Weakness. Yes, beautiful song. As always, we can thank Little Cave Mason for the good music.
Hey, hey.
So yeah, man, let's get into the next topic.
Let's get into
it. And so I was reading always online. I'm always reading online.
Always, I know.
Keeping up. And I saw some stuff about small business, and it was an article that they were asked. I think it was BET. I think it was blackenterprise.com, and they had what's the brother from? Oh, man, I can't believe all the time I forget people's names, man. Every time. It was on Black Enterprise, and they had a director that does Medea. What's the name?
Director?
That does Medea. No, the director. Yeah, the director.
Not Tyler Perry, the director.
Tyler Perry, right? Tyler Perry. So does Medea. So they asked Tyler Perry just some tips on for folks that are running a small business. And beautiful thing. I love Tyler Perry. He's the man. So big ups to him, giving some pointers. But as always, me in the 21st century, I like to keep it as real as possible as far as what to deal with or what to look out for, or what are the real struggles or things you have to look out for if you want to start a small business. So I can only speak from my experience, and I thought that I had some 5 points to go over on people that wants to start a small business. And chime in anytime, because you are a small business owner yourself. So you can add on to give people what they need in order to be prepared. So the first one would be, you need to quit your job in order to run a business. No, you don't. No, you don't need to quit your job. That used to be the talk about 25 years ago, that if you were a serious business owner, you would quit your job and you would go into it head first. That does not exist in the 21st century, folks. In the year 2018, where you have to pay for food, which is getting more expensive, car note, which is expensive, house mortgage or rent, which is expensive, kids, if you have, is expensive, and then you have to consider everything that is involved with running a business, say a store or something like that. There are all types of expenses that you have to consider. In today's age, you have to work. All right. So for small business owners that are just starting out, developing their idea, or already have their idea materialized, and you're getting out to the people already, and people are starting to know you in your community, you have to work. So if you're a mailman, if you're a garbage man, if you are a secretary, or any other type of blue collar job, you're gonna have to keep that job going, because guess what is gonna fund you when you're running your business? You. And that's going to get into a point later on in life. It's too expensive to start a business nowadays, all right? And especially all the costs that are involved. So you're going to have to hunker down. You're going to have to do your 8-hour job, your 10-hour job. There are days when you're not going to be able to get to your business right away. So when you do, you're going to have to stay up late at night. You're going to have to grind it out 4 hours. You're going to have to, if you have to wake up for 5 o'clock in the morning to get to your job, and you have to do your business, be prepared to go to sleep at 2 a.m. I've been there, going to sleep at 2 a.m., needing to get some things knocked out, knowing that I had to get up 3 hours later. That's what I had to do. I had to even sometimes sacrifice time that I would spend with my business to do extra hours at work, because I know I was looking at the long-term goals of what I needed to pay for when it comes to the business. So there's no more of this quit your job. That's for people that have money. When they say, people say, oh, you need to quit your job, that means you have $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 in the bank already for your business. How many people do you know with $100,000? Okay.
Well, actually.
keep it real. That's what we need to hear. That's what we need to hear. Who you know got $100,000?
Quite a few.
You know one or two. You know quite a few. But for those in Ohio, right out of Warren, who got $100,000 other than the dope man? Okay.
You know my
So
circles. I
usually,
try
if
to
you're not
tell
the
you
dope
about my
man,
peeps, man.
Hey, yeah, I hear you. If you're not the,
But the
hey, I'm
average
just saying,
person,
if you ain't snowman, you ain't
no.
the dope man. So, speak it, okay, speak it. Average person ain't got that type of bread.
money, no.
So you know what you're gonna have to do? You're gonna have to work like
work.
everybody else.
You gotta work that 9 to 5 until your passion can pay for your livelihood.
Listen, I ain't want to knock nobody. This one dude told me back in the day when everybody knows Star and Buck Wild. So I had a show many years ago, when I was young, in my 21, something like that. I used to have a cable access show in the Bronx and the Brooklyn. So this is not my first rodeo. So crossover Negro Reese, people that want to dig, everybody know. He was one of the co-hosts of Star and Buck Wild on Hot 97 morning show, on Star and Buck Wild's morning show. And he saw my show, liked it, hit me up, and it was like we just bonded from there. Not afterwards, because some crazy shit happened to him after the fact. Unfortunately, the dude allegedly he got locked up for what do you call it? Abusing a child, sexually abusing a child. It came on the news. I was like, oh snap, nah, bro, I ain't gonna get involved with that. So yeah, that's a whole nother story. But he got caught. I used to go to his crib. We was a chill, and yo, his wife is nice. She was very nice. We would drink. We would all drink out to go to the bar, everything. And he told me this one story. He said, if you ain't got the money and you got to go to the dope man, I can't tell you what you going to do. But however you need to get your business started. I'm not encouraging people to deal with drugs. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that here. All of a sudden you're going to go to your man on the block. I'm not saying all that. But he was just trying to say, if you're serious in the business and you want to do what's necessary to get your business off the ground and you need money, do what's necessary. He wasn't telling me to go out, or he wasn't saying, yo, get up with your nah. He was just saying, if you do what is necessary, right, in order for you to, if this is the business that you want to do and you got to grind it out 9 to 5, do them extra hours, that's what you got to do. Okay? So ain't no more getting off of that. All right. So anyway, so number 2, start and succeed at home. Brick and mortar stores are overpriced and takes too much responsibility. Start and succeed at home. Start and succeed at home. Start and succeed at home. We know there's too much money, as I said in the first one, there's too much money that goes into starting a business when you have a brick and mortar store. Too many expenses that you have to worry about. You already know, as I said in that first one, but you have to think of, if you're going to open a store, you have a business where whatever product that you want to sell, it's going to take shelves, clothing, say if it's a clothing store, but these are the things expensive: hangers, cash registers, price of guns, display cases, rotating racks, mirrors, mannequins, stickers for sales, even though that's nothing, banners and flags, shopping carts, baskets, chairs, curtains, crowd control posts, warehouse shelving, cleaning supplies, security system, everything. All these things have to be taken into consideration for to start a business. If you're going to open up a brick and mortar store, yeah, it's too expensive. All right, especially in today now, everything is getting shipped. Now, of course, we have Uber Eats, and now Uber Eats is going after McDonald's. So the stores that you would never think would deliver, they never delivered in the past. Now someone thought of, and it was before Uber Eats, it was another company that did it, and Uber found out about it and was like, let me get into that. Now they're doing delivery from McDonald's and Burger King and all these fast food joints. People are, the technology is available where you can start your business at home and get it going. Okay, you can start it. You can imagine it. You can get all the pieces you need together to get that business going. Start it at home. I know there's a chef that I know right now on my IG account that's cooking from her home and telling people, hey, come to the crib. And she posts all her food and say you could get whatever you want, mac and cheese and fried chicken and collard greens and all that. She's doing it right from home. And that to me is smart. Because right now, how they have it, the same way where they say you have to quit your job, doing whatever is necessary for you to start your business, because it's too expensive. And then on top of that, you have to compete with the larger stores. You have to compete with the Targets and the Walmarts. It's not happening, because right now you're not stopping that, because already there are mom and pop stores that are closing down because of these same superstores with these chains. You're not going to compete against that. So instead of trying to open up a brick and mortar store and try to compete with the Targets and whatever that you're selling, you can start it right from home. There's another way you can do it. You can have, there's actually that I thought of a while back, there are warehouses that will take your merchandise and hold it for you and mail it. And I'm sure people already know this already. There are warehouses that'll take your product and mail it for you to your customers, and you can keep track of what you're selling, so you don't have to keep all your boxes piled up to the ceiling in your home. There are ways around it, and a lot of things are online anywhere. So start your business online. Start it. It's, oh well, I cook food, or I have this and I need. No, you don't. Everything is moving online anyway. So there's no reason why you need to get a store in order to start your business. I encourage people to start it online and stay online. And if you got to if you do clothing stores, get a truck. Maybe you can invest in a truck, and then you can, what do you call it? Go around the block in your community and say, hey, this is what I sell. I sell clothes. Or if you want to start a brick and mortar store, here's an idea off the top of the head. Don't buy a big store. Buy something that's a small square footage where all you have is a changing station where people get their clothes. They could go to this place, fit the clothes. If they don't like it, you can ship it right from there. All right. You don't need a huge store with square footage and you have to pay all these expenses. Start it from home, and you have to scale down. The internet and technology is making it available for you to cut down your expenses and your overhead, and you can do it right from your home. Number 3, don't feel that you can't contribute in the industry you desire. If there are 5 other people that are doing the same thing as you, don't worry about it. One idea, I think I got it from, I forgot his, again, I'm always forgetting names, of course. One thing that I got on the internet was they say, okay, how many bars of soap are on the shelves when you go to the supermarket? There's like 6 or 7, 8 different bars of soap. You think that 7th owner that started an idea of a bar of soap said, there's already too many bars of soap out there. I don't want to, I don't think it's going to happen. Who cares? Do something that's going to be unique to how you're selling your product, and you get it out there on that floor, on that shelf. You compete with those other brands that are out there. You can do it. How many sneakers are out there? How many? There's a whole lot. Other than the name, other than the brands that you know of. If you want to start a sneaker, go ahead and start your sneaker. Figure out where you can manufacture it. Box it in your home if you have to. Put it in a warehouse. Sell your sneaker. You can do it. Don't ever feel that you cannot do what other people are doing. Don't be discouraged. Keep it pushing. Keep it pushing. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Figure out how you can corner your market and how you want to approach your audience, and kick it to them. Number 4. Don't expect money to come from friends and family.
No.
Don't expect it. What you talking about? Don't expect nothing. All you can expect to come from family and friends is emotional support. They are not your customer base, because we already know that. They know you. They know you when you was 5 years old picking your nose. They know you when you got beat up by the local bully.
Picking boogers.
Well, we all did. Yeah. All right, I know people that actually ate picking boogers and ate it. I know back in the day. But we know the deal. They know you when you was a bully in high school, and you ain't do your homework when you in high school and you was goofing around. So they know you a lot more intimately than your customer will. So there's a little bias there. But expect to reach out. Your customers, the strangers, are going to be your strongest supporters. It's not going to come down. Can you get money from family and friends? Yeah, in some ways, sure, you could. But you have to concentrate on your customers. Concentrate on the people that don't know you, because they don't know you. They only know your product and the brand that you push forward. So you want to come with the best product that you have and say, this is what I have to give, and expect that money to forward your business to come from those very people. Concentrate on your core market. It is not going to come from your family and friends. All right. Lay your head on your mother's shoulder and your pop's shoulder when you're having a hard time.
Right.
But don't expect to get money from them. Not saying don't ask, but don't expect to get it from them. Push forward. Okay. 5. VC and angel investors is the eventual path to raise money. No, it is not. Again, we're in the 21st century. Banks, and I said it in the previous article that I posted online, and I'll put that in the website just for you guys to read. People are no longer getting business loans from banks. And if you're getting a business loan from a bank, you already have the money. Okay? Rich people do not use their own money. They go to a bank or go to another funder. All right? But you're not going to walk into a bank saying, I want to start a business. All I need is $150,000. They're going to look at you like you're crazy. The only people that's getting money to get a loan from the bank is whether you want to get a car or a student loan. That's it. That's all that's coming out, and if you want to get a house. That's long-term investments from the bank side, all right? You're going into a 30-year fixed, all right, when you get a house or a loan from the bank for your house. That's more of an investment for them, a bigger investment for them than it is for you, especially when we know how everything went with the housing market crash that we just got over, that we're just recovering now and we're in the full swing. All right, we already know that, but don't expect to get it from a VC. You know why? 1,000 people can't get into one door. It's impossible. There are too many people as a ratio. There's too many people compared to the amount of VCs and angel investors are out there. So you're going to get discouraged. Yes, it's going to happen. You're going to get down because the VC didn't give you money. That's just the plain and simple of it. All right. You have to figure out how you're going to do group economics and get money from your community. Get money from your city, from your town, from your state, from your county. That's where you're going to get the money from. All right. And shameless plug, I have to say Lyfeblood.com does fit into this, but you are not going to get it from a VC. It is possible. And the truth of the matter is, especially when it comes to race. And there was an article of that I do reference in my previous article, how African-American business owners are not getting a fair shake with VCs as their white counterpart. That's just the truth of the matter. I spoke to one investor, middleman that deals with investors, and we had a conversation on text, I think, or email or something like that. And he was like, oh, there's no such thing as racism in the VC world. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's just like saying black men didn't get hung in the 50s and 60s. That's like saying slavery didn't exist. That's like saying redlining didn't exist in the real estate market. Yes, it does. Okay, so for you to try to act as if racism doesn't play a part in the VC world, it makes up the fabric of America. Racism, as they say, is as American as an apple pie. So should you go to VCs? Hey, I'm not going to tell you say no and not send your business plan or whatever to VCs. I'm not saying that. And go to Silicon Valley, see if you get your idea picked up. But I see how it goes. Like, I have to say, like Pac, all right? They're throwing out turkeys and salamis and all that, and they throwing it around. He knocking on the door, and they crack it open, and they throwing around food and all this feast, but they're not giving you nothing. It's the same thing. It hasn't changed since what Pac said. All right. So that's more of a fault on us than it is on them. We know how they're going to move. All right. As far as when it comes to African Americans, and I'm also involved, not just African Americans, but also all Americans involved with this. But I say that specifically with African Americans because it's a unique experience that we are having when it comes to small business owners looking for funding to get our business off the ground. So, of course, we know that door is going to be cracked. All right. We have to figure out alternative ways of how to get money. And we say, oh, well, that black guy got in, that's him. Sometimes that's tokens for them to make them feel good that they did something for African Americans. All right. It's the same thing with Halle Berry when she won her Oscar. That was supposed to throw the door open for African American women in Hollywood. Did that happen? No, it did not. Okay, there are plenty of fine black actors, women and men that have gotten their Oscars, and it was supposed to throw the door open, and it was supposed to be a flood of, because they know that we can make money now. And has that happened? No, it hasn't happened. So what do we do at this point? All right, I'm not saying to leave Hollywood alone. Get your deals in Hollywood. But if you know that there's a viable market for the African American film business, now you have to figure out an alternative. So now we have to figure out alternative ways when it comes to raising funds for small businesses with the group network. And you have to go through there. So, and the last one, research network, plan to fail, and there's no such thing as an overnight success. And I could actually break that down into 4 more, but I wanted to keep it tight with 5. Okay, research network, always learn. read books, talk to people, go online, go to the library, read as much books as you can. If you think you know everything, go out there and try to find more information and plan to fail, because you are going to fail. And there are times where, nah, man, I'm going to go in, and you think you have this bright type. Nah, you're going to fail. You know who failed? The boat that sank. LK.
Titanic?
The Titanic. The Titanic was probably designed from soup to nuts, from front to back, bow to stern, if I'm saying that right. And they thought they had it, the biggest ship, and they was sailing that out. And what happened? The iceberg came and sank the ship. It humbled them. So you want to learn as much as you can and plan to fail and learn from those failures and get up, brush yourself off, and continue again. And there's no such thing as an overnight success, because you're going to go out there for a while before you get something come from it. You don't plant it today and then all of a sudden you're going to pick a fruit tomorrow. That's not how it works. You got to plant it, you got to cultivate it, you got to go at it. And sometimes how you fail, it's gonna go brown and it's gonna fail. How? Why this seed didn't sprout? I don't get it. You got to plant it again. You got to get it right. That's where the research and networking comes in. Talk to other farmers. All right, cool. Now all of a sudden you got a whole row of apple trees out there that you could pick from. It's gonna happen down the line. Just because it doesn't happen when you want it to, doesn't mean that it can't happen. You just got to keep toiling at it, keep going. And people hear you. Trust me, people are listening. People are hearing. People see your brand. They see it right there. You know how many people walk by stores out on the outside and they don't buy nothing? And by the eighth month they've been walking by the store every day when they go to work, they finally say, let me walk in there and see what's going on. So don't keep pushing. Don't give up. Keep going. It's going to happen for you. It's going to happen. And make sure you have your ship tight. When the people do come in the door, hey, this is what we got. And then you could give them what you need, and people would appreciate it. Keep going, y'all. Keep going. Those are my 5 tips as far as small business is concerned. Hopefully that gives you guys some kind of inspiration. If you heard it before, that's great. If not, this is what we're here for. LK, I know I was just blowing through everything. You got any words?
Not that I could think that you didn't already say.
Okay, all right. So we're going to go into the next song. What is the next song we got? Sean David from Houston, Texas. His song is, he did a nice little ditty of Lovers and Friends. Lovers and Friends, of course, it was done by Usher the Man, Usher.
Yes.
And he did this song, and when LK, you say it. You tell me how you felt about it.
When they did Lovers and Friends? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, I
mean,
I knew
only
it was
thing
gonna
I
tickle
can
you.
say is yes. Yes.
Yo, and that was said. And you heard other songs, right? You heard his other songs? Sean David.
Yes, I did. When I listened to the first song, I was like, "Y'all, yeah, this is pretty tight." And then I looked on there and I said, "Lovers and Friends, what?" Because Lovers and Friends is one of my all-time favorite songs. Lil Jon, Ludacris, Usher. I'm like, "Yo, let me peep this out." I was like, you can't just be throwing this up in the mix.
He did a good job. He did.
I listened to it. I was like, "Hey."
You can't do an Usher song and then not do it justice. Straight talk. And you better come with it.
He did all right. He did all right. So I had to choose this one. I didn't even listen to the other 2 songs. Once I saw that,
so you stopped in your tracks.
I heard the first one. I was like, "This is cool." I heard saw Lovers and Friends. So let me check this out. This is the one. I didn't even listen to the other.
Yeah, all right. So we gonna hear Sean David from Houston, Texas. Lovers and Friends, y'all.
Baby, how you doing? wanna know what you got in mind tonight. Got me feeling like Jodeci, girl, I can't leave you alone. Take a shot of this here Patron, and it's gonna be on. VIP done got way too crowded. I'm about to end up calling it a night. You should holler at your girl, tell you shaking the sink. Pull up, beep, beep, shotgun in the GT with me. She said, oh, I'm ready to ride. I was like, yeah, cause once you get inside, you can't change your mind. Don't be no sign impatient, but you gotta promise, baby. Tell me again. Tell me again, yeah. Lovers and friends.
Ooh, a GCOM exclusive.
Tell me again. Tell me over and over and over. Lovers and friends. You ain't the one for me. You ain't got nothing I need. You want me to take my time with you. Maybe I'm not your speed. Maybe I'm not your league. You ain't even got no cheese. Maybe I'm just too G for you. Maybe I'm just too street. I can even roll in beats. Everybody notice me. I can even go to sleep. I'm rolling on a beam. They tried to get me. Ain't got on my knees like Jesus, please. He don't believe in Jesus. Why you got a Jesus speech? If you wanna leave, just leave. But you ain't gotta lie to me. Even the blind can see that you ain't gon' ride for me. You ain't showing me the love you say that you got for me. There ain't no loyalty, you lied to me. You said that you was gon' ride for me. Now tell me again, yeah, oh, that we'll be lovers and friends. I gotta know, tell me again, that we'll be lovers and friends.
This is the GCOM Radio.
No hood favorite. You wanna know who the best is?
It's WPRD 98.3.
Hey, we have returned. We just heard Sean David from Houston, Texas. Lovers and friends.
Hey.
So what y'all thought? What y'all thought? It's tight? Yeah. All right.
Tell me again.
What?
I can't sing, y'all.
I can't see you anyway. But yeah, I love that song too, girl. You're not the only one. That's a banging song.
Yes.
Yeah, so shout out to Sean David, man. He's doing his thing. We got a lot of joints that I know. If you haven't heard of Sean David, we will play his songs here. It's fantastic. So we're gonna go into the third segment for the show. And yeah, man, I was just reading up on Lil Jon. He opened up his second school in Ghana. Give a little shout out to him.
Shout out, shout out.
Applause. That's a beautiful thing. And I wonder if this is going to be a growing thing, man. If he's going to have schools all over Ghana, and it's going to be a great thing to see how it turns out. And also the Breakfast Club, I didn't know they did they do this radiothon called Change for Change every year, raising money for nonprofit organizations or a specific cause. And man, it snuck up on me. I didn't know it was already time for another radiothon. So they raised over $200,000 for Project 375. It's an organization that focuses on building education, support, and treatment for mental health. And excuse me, that's an important thing. The co-founder's name is Brandon Marshall, and he's the executive chairman, and the executive vice president and co-founder is Mitchie Marshall. And it's a really beautiful thing, because we need it. We need it not just in the urban community, but we also need it not just in music, but also within our own communities. Because a lot of times we just kind of push off our mental health as something to deal with. It's secondary or third or fourth.
Right.
And it's a necessary thing. And there are a lot of artists that have kind of killed themselves because of mental health issues. And we get so surprised, like, oh my God, I can't believe it happened. But, you know, a lot of people are stressed out. They're human beings too, with a lot of stresses, and they try to deal with it the best way they can. And unfortunately, one of the ways they do it is drugs and alcohol, and unfortunately it may lead to their untimely death.
While we're on the topic, I want to send a shout out, send some love and my deepest condolences and sympathies to one of our artists that we featured on GCOM Radio, Tay Money. Recently, his father committed suicide. So it's a very serious thing. Suicide is real, you know. Having that mental state and being able to seek the proper help is so important. And Tay Money being so young, he's only 17 years old, and he's battled with sickle cell his entire life. And to see people that he's grown to become friends with, and you know, I don't know if you guys know anything about the disease of sickle cell, but they have these periods where they need to be hospitalized and they have to have treatments, and a lot of times they're in the hospital together, and him seeing kids his age die all around him, and then now, you know, his father. So my heart goes out to you, Tay Money. We're sending so much love to you, man.
Love and light, brother.
Yeah.
Love and light. Wow, that's unfortunate. Wow, look at that. And that's why this is so needed. That's why, you know, mental health clinics, like Project 375, this organization, building education and support, it's needed, man, in our communities, because we don't deal with it effectively. We don't.
Right.
You know, we just chalk it up as battle scars and we push through it. But there's a lot of not residual effect, but what's that word I'm looking for? It's side effects that we do get from dealing with issues in our immediate family and in our own communities. So, but my thing was, it's a beautiful thing that these artists are really getting into their communities, and it looks like, from seeing what the Breakfast Club is doing on an annual basis, Lil Jon opened up his new school, and then you have Diddy doing his open up schools here,
right,
and LeBron James and all these people. I think hopefully I would like it to be a visible part of these celebrities' lives, because a lot of times the media likes to spin and always talk about the dirt, always want to talk about, you know, who this person is messing around with, who this guy got beef with, who got shot, who got stabbed, who's throwing what chair. And then we go to the reality show and we see all this whole circus happen, grown adults getting into this, you know, high school type episodes with other members of the show. And it's like, that's not the only thing that makes up hip hop, right, or just this culture. You know what I mean? And it's important to see other sides of the good that artists and celebrities are doing, and other, not just as far as giving back to the community, but also expanding outside, right, of the music. Like Nas, when he's getting into the tech industry, he just made money, like a $40 million deal, in investment, and went into this tech companies. So we need to see that and it be a forefront.
Right.
And a lot of times, you know, people want to see the Tekashi 6ix9ines. Oh, look what happened. I was watching Tekashi 6ix9ine, and on the Breakfast Club, he was just on there a lot, and he was just talking, you know, he was talking reckless. I don't know if you know of him, but he's this new rapper kid that kind of sound like Onyx. Because when I first heard his song, I'm like, Onyx came back? And this dude is a, you know, kid from Bushwick, and he just be talking crazy. And his music is kind of like Onyx, hard, you know what I mean? He did songs for 50 Cent and all that, but he likes to get into a lot of that unnecessary beef, you know, come to my hood, I'm coming to your hood, you know what I mean? And he talked crazy, and I'm like, this is not hip hop. I don't want people to get this idea that when they think of hip hop, they're gonna think of Tekashi 6ix9ine and all this reckless talk.
So
kind of we grew up in with Onyx.
Great things, and I was telling you before we started, you know, that a lot of people didn't know that Ludacris's organization, the Luda Foundation, is one of the biggest foundations in Atlanta. And you know, he does so many things for underprivileged youth, and then you have, you know, just The Game. on social media starting his Robin Hood project, where he was giving away money to just random people and having celebrities donate so much amount of money so they can give to people who were in need. And then, you know, I have to show love to my boy Usher. You know, I used to do a little bit of work with him and his nonprofit foundation, Usher's New Look Foundation. And at the time, they were holding 2-week camps where they were showing kids the business side behind the sports, music, and entertainment industry. And it just evolved. It got so big to where he was nationwide. You know, they have Usher's New Look in Los Angeles and Detroit and Milwaukee and New York and just all over. And so everybody globally is involved with it now. It's not just a 2-week camp. And then they afforded me the opportunity to bring kids from my small town of Warren, Ohio that nobody has heard of, and I brought them to camp with him in Milwaukee and Atlanta, twice in Atlanta. So yeah, shout out to Usher for doing his thing and doing his part to show kids that it's more than about the talent, it's also about the business, you know?
And that's a beautiful thing. And to me, that has to take more of a forefront, because, you know, I kind of understand sometimes how artists don't talk about it in some ways, or celebrities in general, because they feel like, well, I don't want to put it out there, and it may come off as some kind of just a, you know, an entertainment or some trick that we're trying to do, some Showtime trick, and we're just trying to get, you know, for love from the community, that we're not just, I know it's not a gimmick, it's not something that you're just trying to let people know you're just doing something, but you should talk about it. Right. You should. It's if you're getting so much from the community, it's good that we give back, and we give back in a lot of different ways that, you know, communities in need. It's with Project 375, it's with Usher's nonprofit, it's with Luda's nonprofit, it's with even Nas, him making deals and investment, and maybe that $40 million investment, he takes $5 million and he throws it into a community center in Queensbridge, where he's from. Like, these are the things that we need, and we need to publicize it and get our PR people on it, or they get their PR people on it and say, hey, yeah, we need to do this. If the news is not going to pick it up, don't worry, we could throw it on YouTube, we could throw it on social media, and we'll let people know what's happening, because you do not want to let people that don't care about the culture get a grip on what the image of the culture should be to people that stand outside the culture. That's a dangerous thing, because now you're letting them get a hold of it, and then they're going to criminalize you. You're going to demonize you. So important that we have some sort of control or strategy where you can do your music, you can do whatever you want, do your thing, but you also put that at the forefront and say, hey, this is what we're doing, and you can see this. Because a lot of times the kids need to see that, because if they just see Tekashi 6ix9ine, they're going to be like, yeah, that's how we got to act. Oh, yeah, it's all crazy. Right, because we ain't had that.
I gotta give love, show some love to a family friend of mine. He's deceased now, but when he was alive, his name was Corey Stringer. He was a Super Bowl in the NFL. Yes, he played for the Minnesota Vikings. It was highly publicized, his death was, because he died of heat stroke in training camp. And while he was alive, he did so much for our community, but he liked to operate in silence. So a lot of people didn't know that he paid for all of teams' uniforms and all of their equipment and everything like that. They don't know that he signed over his Super Bowl check, you know what I mean, to a local organization. People didn't know these things about him. And right before he passed, he was thinking about, you know, starting his own nonprofit organization. And since he wasn't able to do that, his brother and his sister did start one, and I was one of the board members for that organization, and the Corey Stringer Community Fund, and we were able to give back to a lot of the kids in our community through that, using his name. And, you know, I just want to show some love to him, because he's no longer with us, and like I said, he liked to move in silence, so you didn't know everything that he was doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's, the people need to know. Yeah. The people need to know. And I think even for this, in this case, what we can do with GCOM Radio, if anybody has nonprofit organizations that they want to get message out there, we would gladly put it up on there on the show and talk about how, you know, whatever the services that you want to provide, because the people do need it, and it's good that we see other sides to what celebrities get instead of, you know, and I'm gonna say this, Mayweather, I love Mayweather as a boxer, but Mayweather as a person, I find questionable a lot of times, because a lot of times he just throws up, you know, recently he threw up on IG talking about his 16-room crib with 17 bathrooms, and and I'll say it right to Mayweather, if ever you hear this down the line, you know what, all in all look good, that's your power. You have every right to do whatever you want to do. You worked hard for it. You can have a 50-room mansion if you want in 50 different states, no doubt. But the people saw you, and there are a lot of people that support you regardless of all the haters, and especially from your background, especially how your pops came up, how your uncle came up in your hood. It's good that you give back. You know, instead of getting that 17-room house, do something for the community that you came up in. All right.
I only know because I actually worked on a project where he funded everything.
Okay then.
Well, I was waiting to see where you were going with it before I interrupt you, and I'm like, okay, no. I actually was working on a project where he funded everything, and it was offered for free for not only school children that were in elementary all the way up through college. He flew someone around to do speaking engagements. He paid for all the room and lodging, everything. The kids weren't charged. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I stand corrected and put my foot in my mouth. Oh, my bad. See, I give credit where credit's due, but sometimes that's all people want to hear. You put
sometimes,
it on TMZ,
like I said, people like to move in silent. They give money, they write the checks, and they're like, no, you don't have to acknowledge me.
Okay. That. All right, so my bad. All right, so that's what's up. I just think that we do got to put it front and center, because it's important for the image of the culture and for the image of you, if you care about that. So all right, we're gonna get into the next song.
But first, I didn't mention Corey's siblings that I was, serving on the board for. So I do want to show some love to Kevin Stringer and Kim Stringer. I love you all. And I hope you're listening.
Big ups. Big ups. Yeah, no doubt. That's what's up. And also, one more thing before we get into the next song. I just want to give a shout out to some unexpected passings in the past week. Stan Lee, the creator of Marvel Comics. This brother, I grew up on his comics, and now watching his movies makes me feel like a kid all over again. So thank you, Stan Lee, for all your contributions to what you did. Your work is important. Remembering what I read about Stan Lee and how he felt when he first started. Look what happened, Stan. And also the passing of Kim Porter. Condolences to the Combs family and to close friends. That was unexpected. Kim was 47.
47, so young.
That blew me, seriously blew me away. So I know the family's hurting, so love and light to the Combs family. All right, so we're going to get into G Leaux from ATL, Georgia. Her song is Gimme. Let's hear what we got. Thank you guys. As a matter of fact, that is the last song. So thank you guys for listening, man. We appreciate it. So it'll be up on Wednesday.
Thanksgiving.
And happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And you know how I have to get. Thanksgiving is
Stay
for
away
family,
from that turkey.
not for what you think. All right, and you know how I'm getting into that later. And stay away from that turkey. You know what I mean? This is a time for family and friends, and sitting down and giving thanks to everything that you have achieved or we received, and you want to give it back to the higher power, to the Lord, to God, to Yahweh, to whoever, and saying thank you for everything that you have given me, and humble yourself and appreciate all that you have if you feel that you want everything. Family and friends. All right, so we're going to get into G Leaux from ATL, Georgia. Check it out. Gimme.
Blessings.
Thanks, y'all. We'll be back next week. Blessings.
Mama said play the game, protect your heart, baby, don't change. Truth is, I like it better when you're in control. Say yes or say no. Direct me, baby, when I'm out of line, correct me, baby. Going deeper just might drive me crazy. Drive me crazy, drive me crazy. That's lane, running through my mind all day.
listening to GCOM Radio.
But you be asking to blame. Can't understand why you're playing. Can't understand why you're playing. Back me, baby. When I need you, you caress me, baby. When I'm out of line, correct me, baby. Going deeper just might drive me crazy. Drive me crazy. Direct me, baby. When I need you, you caress me, baby. When I'm out of line, correct me, baby. Going deeper just might drive me crazy. Drive me crazy. Fast lane, running through my mind all day. Can't wait until I see your face. Truth is, I love it when you're in control. Say yes or say no. Say yes or say no. Give me your love, baby. 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 Ooh.
It's WPRD 98.3 GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com for the global community on the next go round from right here to your town.
You already know.
We out.